Okay, Gina, let's look at Ontario and kind of the 2-week or 10-day to 14-day sort of farmer forecast, as we call it here on Real Weather Watch. A lot of farmers are right now looking at the forecast, not necessarily the weather, and obviously the lows are more important almost than the highs. What are we expecting here in the next 2 weeks as far as some of the lows?
Well, the Jetstream has been quite active in the last week or so. We're really starting to see these really potent lows start to form in the U.S. and then track through Ontario, potentially bringing some significant precipitation. So we've had a nice couple of days, but as we head into the weekend, specifically more Sunday into Monday, we are looking at some potentially heavy rainfall for areas in southern Ontario, central Ontario, even into southeastern Ontario. That is going to bring the mild air, which could mean some thunderstorms with potentially higher rainfall amounts, of course. That should clear out for mid next week. We'll have some dry days through mid next week, but then next weekend, I think there is the potential for more developing storm systems in the States that could bring some more wet weather next weekend. So it's going to be fairly on and off over the next 2 weeks or so for southern Ontario.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting is when you look at some of the graphs that you have on weathernetwork.com, is you'll see that on the Ontario, like the graph goes across and it's kind of really stable. Whereas when you look in the West, it's sort of like the temperatures once we get past the 20th are kind of going like this. So I guess it's thank goodness if we do get a lot of precipitation, thank goodness for tile drainage, so we can get back in the fields right away.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's just the nature of the two different climates, completely different. Yeah.
Right. So I guess as Ontario farmers look at that forecast, some have already been commenting to me today that they've been kind of following the forecast, obviously on a daily basis. And they're seeing the amount of precipitation next week, specifically like in the London area, the amount of precipitation is really pulled back compared to what we originally had thought earlier in the week. So is it just that jet stream changing?
Yeah, actually what we've got going on now is different storm systems interacting. So we have one storm system right now affecting the prairies, and then we've got these storm systems down in the Midwest through the United States. And when these two low pressure systems tend to interact, they tend to they can shift that storm track kind of north or south, and it creates a little bit of uncertainty there. So what we're seeing now is the timing and the location of the heaviest precip has been shifting a little bit to the north. So right now I think the heavier precip is going to be more towards central Ontario, up through Georgian Bay and into eastern Ontario.
What about in terms of, with that precipitation, are we talking snow or are we talking rain?
Mainly going to be rain, but on the very northern edge of this precip shield, as we head into kind of the northern sections of central Ontario and into northern Ontario, that could come as some snow or wet snow.
Okay, great, Gina. Well, we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.